Welcome to the podcast. Great to have y'all back.
Hello, sir.
Greg and Michael, good to see y'all.
You
How's
as well.
your week gone?
Good. It's
Very
only the
good.
beginning, but
I understand our podcast last week was very
Yeah, it did well.
viewed.
Did well.
Would that be one of the highest viewed ones?
I didn't rank
sure.
it. I didn't rank it. I'd have to look. But
So
Thanks
how
for
many-
watching, guys. Thanks
how
for
many,
watching.
Yes.
How many views, whatever listens did we have? Do you know?
I mean, I don't. I was just looking at the general numbers.
A lot.
I know, it just did it fast. People watched it really fast. So
A lot right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Big
Y'all
topic.
were
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Well, I was gone this week. Heard y'all had a good week. I was preaching in Lenore for a friend of mine. It was his 40th anniversary as a pastor and the church's 75th anniversary. So
His
I got to go
40th
there.
anniversary as a pastor at that church.
At that church.
Right?
It's a
I mean,
long
Keith
time.
Gillen, my dear friend, when he started pastoring that church, I was a junior in high school.
hey,
Man.
do you remind him of that often?
I reminded him yesterday.
But
And
Keith's
so-
a great friend of yours, too.
Fantastic,
Right? I mean,
fantastic friend, fantastic mentor to me
Yeah.
in so many ways. So I pastored a smaller church in Lenore at the time, so he and I became very quick friends, and I've known him for 31 years, and I was privileged. I was supposed to go preach last year,
right.
and the hurricane hit, and we didn't even have communications for at least a week. So obviously,
Well,
I didn't.
I
get
hope
to
I
go.
know. Hope he knows I'm not coming.
So he said, yeah, that's about it. I called him the night before it hit. I said, man, I don't think I'm going to make it with what I'm seeing coming. And then we didn't talk for 2 weeks probably.
Right.
So he said, come back this year. So it fell on his 40th and the church's 75th. And that's an amazing story at Living Hope Church. When he came there in 1985, they had about 40 people, and now they're well over 1,000 people.
That's incredible.
Well over that, and they built a brand new sanctuary that seats about 1,100, and it was just incredible to be in that room and see it. So many people there yesterday celebrating together. Great church and a great future there. So I had fun.
Fantastic.
But, I was really pleased to see how well the day went here yesterday.
Yeah,
and
had a good
at
weekend.
Upward West yesterday.
Yes.
It was fantastic. Both Flat Rock and Upward West did so well yesterday. And you did a great job.
Thank you.
I heard you on Thursday, and then a gentleman came up to me after service. He said, I have been in church for 50 years, and I've never heard a full sermon on communion, and I really, really loved it. So well done, sir.
Thank you. It was fun. We had a good time, and it all, it all came together. By the time it was all said and done,
It went well.
What was it? I was looking at you Thursday night before service, probably about an hour or so before service, and I kind of looked at you and said, "Yep, we are where we are at this point in time. If we don't have it by now, we're not getting it."
You prep a message, and you can put as much time as you want into a message. I know how hard you work on them and how hard we all work on them when we do them, and you can work and work and work, and then it just comes Thursday night, and it's time to preach that thing, and it's like we are where we are. I like to be able to get to a message and say, I put the time in.
Yep.
I did everything I could to make this one right. And when I do that, I can go up in the pulpit confident that I did.
Yep.
If I have a week that I've really been squeezed and the time has been squeezed and I can't put the time in it, I go into the pulpit feeling less confidence. It's never a fault of laziness that
Correct.
I sat around and didn't do it. Sometimes it's just a fact of schedule. You got to put this one out in a hurry.
Yep.
And I don't like that feeling. I like to be able to put time. I've told people before, it's to prep a sermon and do it like we do it is a minimum of 8 hours of prep.
Oh, absolutely.
A minimum.
Yes.
Oftentimes more, depending on how complex it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a sermon to me. Heard a guy talking about writing a song the other day. He said, I knew what I wanted. It was writing a song for a movie. In fact, it was Over the Rainbow for The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He said, I knew where I wanted to go with this song, but this song wouldn't just come to me. It wouldn't just come to me. And he said, we were in I think his name's Harold Arlen, and he said, we pulled up in front of Schwab's drugstore in Hollywood, and he said, I told my friend, I said, pull over, and he said, Over the Rainbow came to me in just a few minutes. Sermons are like that.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
where you want, you know where you're going, but sometimes they just don't come to you until a certain amount of work is put in,
Right.
and then it flows.
Yeah.
So yours was fantastic. I love your thoughts on communion. You did an excellent job of breaking down how communion is a look into our past
Mm-hmm.
and into what Jesus did, a look into our future and what Jesus is going to do. And then a look inside,
Yep.
maybe what Jesus is doing right now in my own heart. I thought you did a fantastic job with that. And I loved the three-dimensional perspectives that we have when we share the Lord's Supper together.
Yeah, I mean, for me, kind of one of the things that you're thinking about throughout the whole process is that how many of us we take communion because that's what we do. For us as a church, we feel it's important to do it often, and so typically it's the first weekend of the month. I heard Sunday so many comments about, what are we doing? We're taking communion. It's not the first weekend of the month. Why are we taking communion this weekend?
So people actually
notice that, which kind of caught me off guard.
I don't notice it at all. It's just on the schedule. I'm like, oh, communion's today.
I had a few comments at West as well.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, wait, what's going? This is the last weekend of the month. What are we doing? Why are we changing it up? Yeah,
that's interesting.
But I mean, it's something that we feel is valuable to do it often, and so we just kind of have this rhythm where we do it once a month.
So we just moved it this week because grand opening next week and had so much going on.
We moved it because this is what I wanted to preach
on, and you wanted to preach on it as well.
So anyway, so it was it was kind of that. But then, how many of us just do it just simply because it's the rhythm that we've fallen into? I mean,
how often do you think churches should do communion if pastors are out there listening?
Boy,
dive into that.
Yeah, why not? I think the word is often, right? I think we're told to do it often. So
when I was growing up in our church, we would do it, I think, maybe quarterly.
Yeah.
And it was a big event, I mean, there were people assigned to it. I think the board members shared it. And I remember growing up, and when it was my dad and mom's turn to prepare it, I remember filling up those little cups.
Oh,
you did the little glass cups.
Yes, I've done that.
And I remember you tried to either pour the grape juice in there or use a dropper or something. I've used the dropper before, and because it's so hard, you got a tray there often of whatever there are, 50 of them in a tray, and you got to get that in there. But it was a big event.
I used a syringe.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah. I remember this elaborate thing. There was this big elaborate thing that this guy had created, and it had all kind of tubes that fed out of a pot, and you could slide the tray under there and turn a knob, and it would fill them all at once.
Yeah.
Never bought one of those, but those were the days.
That's cool.
We did it quarterly, I think, but we do it monthly here. Some churches do it weekly.
Yep.
Some churches, that is the center point of the sermon is communion, and I think that's great too, but we want to do it at least once a month.
It was it's a thing for us too with, also not just, talking about communion, but also taking into account kind of what's going on with us as a community and with us as a church this weekend. Mm-hmm. And so, you mentioned it a moment ago, the 1 year anniversary of the hurricane, and kind of take an inventory of that and kind of where we were a year ago at this point in time and what God's done. And then also the fact that we're, just a few days away now from that grand opening of Upward West and seeing this. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it was really a cool thing as just kind of the preparation of it to see how God was lining us up for that, to be able to talk about everything together in one weekend too.
Hard to believe that a year ago we were here, basically living here at the church almost for what was it, about 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Were we wide open relief right here for 3 weeks, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
I know it was 2 intense ones, and then we started
scaling back
a bit on what we offered, but I remember a year ago just being like, you maybe mentioned, or somebody did over the last week, that I don't think we've ever been so tired on so many levels as we were. There was an exhilaration about being able to serve, but there was also this being tired inside and out.
It's unlike anything I never want to have to experience again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was this beautiful opportunity to really see not just Upward, but so many churches and so many of God's people rallying together to serve one another.
It was just incredibly amazing because none of us could have done it alone. No one church could do it alone. I remember being so blown away by the cooperation between churches. Told the story many times of different supplies came to different places, at all kinds of random times. And I remember a time when we were out of water, which was crucial. Those first 2 weeks, water was, everybody wanted water. And so there was a time we were out, and a couple of pickup trucks rolled up with full of water and said, "You can have this water." I said, "Fantastic. Where'd it come from?" And I'm thinking, Virginia or South
Sure.
Carolina. They said First Baptist Hendersonville.
Yeah.
So it's like First Baptist had extra water, and they brought us some.
Yep.
And then the next week, I got a call from the pastor at First Baptist. He said, "Y'all got any water?" I said, "We got a truckload."
I say an 18-wheeler had been delivered.
We just got an 18-wheeler
Yep.
full of water that day, and we sent it right back over to him. And I thought, wow, churches came together. And I'll never forget what our county manager said to us some months back. He said the churches did things the government could not do.
Yep.
You know, and our local government, Henderson County local government, in my estimation, did a fantastic job during the hurricane. They really stepped up, and I was well pleased with how they responded and helped so many people. But the churches there just filled in all kinds of gaps, and what a time. What a time.
Agreed.
It's interesting to commemorate that.
I think I remember you saying it during this, but it perfectly lined up with story in Scripture of the oil being poured out of a little jar and it turns into many jars. I mean, even just with water, we got to a point where we were up to our ears in cases of water. We had too much, but it was just constantly that story of like we would run out of something and then we'd get a delivery of something we needed. So just it was constantly like we were pouring out and then receiving to pour out more. So it's cool to kind of see that in real time.
Our first job was to get here to the church. From my neighborhood, it took 2 days of chainsawing to get out of the neighborhood and to get up the road and to get here. After two days, what was it, Friday and Saturday?
Yep.
I think we got to church on a Saturday, I believe.
Saw you that's when we saw you for the first time.
And so we got here. And we had power here, and a little bit of water. The water was a little iffy here. I remember, I can't remember the whole situation, but the toilets weren't quite flushing. We were flushing toilets with buckets.
Yep.
But something about it after that hurricane, I knew we needed to get here. We obviously could not have service on Sunday.
No.
We didn't have enough. We didn't know what was going on enough to have anything. And so we got here, and I remember people started coming in. I remember Greg Mara, who's passed now, that we miss him so much that he came in desperate for a cup of coffee. I'll never forget Greg just struggling to get a cup of coffee. And we made coffee here. And I realized we're just going to be here. We're just going to be here at church. And we had nothing.
No.
I remember the next Sunday we had no service, and I just thought, I'm going to go stay at church all day. I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to sit here. I have nothing to give, nothing to offer, but I'm just going to be in the lobby because I need to see people, and we just need to be here.
Yeah.
It seems like it was that afternoon or the next day. I think it was that afternoon. I have a cousin who lives in Madison, North Carolina, who called me and said, we've got a pickup truck load full of stuff and gas and water, and the majority of it outside of that was peanut butter and jelly. She said, we're bringing a pickup truck, my cousin Tanya, and she came with a pickup truck, and that was one of the first things we got is just peanut butter, jelly, some water, and a few cans of gas. And we just started giving out what we had to whoever came. And I mean, it's like we're in the lobby with 40 people, and we're like, take home a jar of peanut butter, take home a jar of jelly, right? And we literally lived out that story of the woman with the little bottle of oil. The more we poured out, the more that came.
Sure.
Whatever we gave out, it came. And whatever we needed was there. I remember just being amazed. A lady came in and said, I need cat food.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, we never thought about food for pets. It didn't cross my mind. I had
high
enough
in
at home
demand
for my dog.
The biggest thing.
She said, we need cat food. And I just turned around to somebody. I said, have we? And they're like, yeah, we just got in some cat food. So we were feeding pets and the oddest things that people would need that you don't think about because you can just go down the store and get it.
That's exactly right.
They would show up and it would be here, And so we did that for 2 straight weeks. Finally, after about 2 weeks, the initial emergency need had been met, and on top of it, we had the wonderful shower trailer out. We saw this week at a conference, Al and Cindy, who came with Drusa. We'd not seen them since the hurricane.
Exactly.
And so they were at an event. I was teaching at an event, and we all went, and a lot of other speakers, but Al and Cindy were there, and I saw Al and Cindy, and I said, seeing y'all makes me feel like I need a shower, because I remember in those times, we were all sweaty and dirty all day long, because we just worked. We were outside all day with everything going on, and the whole county was like dusty. You remember that?
I do.
It was like after that, it was like dirt had all kind of stuff was in the air, and it was so rough. And
taking showers at the Martin's house.
Yes.
A lot of people went to the Martin's house to get a shower. They got power back, I think, before anybody.
I think they got power back on Saturday.
Yeah.
It
was like we're going to the Martin's to get a shower
and dinner.
Dinner. They were feeding and showering.
Right.
Then Drusa rolls in and they start feeding people, and it's like, I mean, we had people rolling in from everywhere just to get a hot meal.
Man.
And I hate to. I don't know how to say this without just sounding insensitive, but the pandemic and the hurricane, hear my heart.
Yeah.
Some of that's the most fun ministry I ever had.
Right.
Because we were right out in the middle of it, meeting needs straight to the people, and you could see the need being met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a tragic time
Very
for
rewarding.
lots of people. Rewarding is probably the best word.
Yeah.
It's awful to go through, and I don't want to go through anything like those again.
No.
But so rewarding to be able to see.
I mean, to a certain extent, you really feel like that you are doing what Jesus asked of us to do during those times. I mean, it's what it feels like.
When you're putting food in somebody's mouth and water and just diapers and showers and just these immediate human needs that are everywhere in a time like that, you just know you're doing the work of Jesus, and it's rewarding. Yeah.
You see the desperation on people's faces, right? And then all of a sudden you place a case of water in their hand and a bag of food or something like that, and just kind of the small relief that on their faces when you're able to do that. There isn't another way. I mean, you can't buy that kind of feeling in that point in time. So,
I still remember well going home. We'd try to leave here somewhere before dark because the road to my house was an obstacle course for sure. Jump over power lines, under lines, over dirt. I mean, they're still fixing the road to our house still today, a year later. And I remember those times going home. We bought a generator in the middle of it, cranking up that generator just so a few things could work in the house. Man, those memories are just stuck in my emotions.
One memory I have of that whole thing is walking over to my neighbor's house and us sitting down enjoying playing board games together to pass the time.
And we used the very light that's lighting this set right now.
Battery operated light.
I was taking it home and lighting up my whole house with it.
The first night, we were using candles. We hadn't gotten over to the church yet, so we were just using candles.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I thought about bringing this later because it's a battery, so it didn't run on power, and then.
Y'all remember those
unusual? You find unusual uses for things when you're in that situation.
I'll never forget the emotion I had when that Drusa truck rolled in with food on it. I'll never forget the emotion when they were right out front here, this big tractor trailer with food.
Yeah,
I felt like the cavalry had arrived, to bring us something because we were just, peanut butter and jelly. And I had bought bread. I stood in line the second day at a little Dollar General down the road here. I stood in line forever. And I just grabbed peanut butter, jelly, and bread. And I got some cheese. And we were eating grilled cheese. I had a little Blackstone, with propane.
Yep.
And we were doing grilled cheese sandwiches and peanut butter and jelly.
The same day I went to this Ingles right down the road here on Upward Road. It was the only Ingles that was open in the area, and they had very limited supplies, and I did the exact same thing. I went there and just grabbed a few things and stood in line for about 2 to 3 hours. I mean, I had never seen lines that long. They wrapped around where the produce, everything is, all the way up to where the meats were, and you got in line back where the eggs and the milk and stuff are, and you had to stand in line there and work your way through. And they only took if you didn't have cash, it didn't work because
only cash.
There was no
everything was down.
Yeah,
like they didn't have power to run there,
and just no communication at all. You could phones not working.
Yeah, you weren't getting messages.
I remember trying to get water out here on Upward Road. I think the convenience stores out here. I think the Marathon and the QT was open, and they were selling water. And I remember dropping friends off that helped us get out, and just trying to call them and tell them where I was. Couldn't even do that.
Yeah,
I'm out the road waving.
Yeah.
I remember grabbing all the water we could and just, man, what times those were. I'll never forget either when the crew rolled in with the Starlinks.
I was just about to say, we got free Starlinks from
Starlink.
They
came in, and people say, was that real? That was absolutely real.
Absolutely, yeah. They helped us out a lot.
Starlink brought relief to so many people at a time.
Oh, yeah.
We brought that Starlink out. I'd never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
And they rolled up with a bunch of state troopers, came out with a bunch of guys, and they were here for about an hour. I didn't know who was coming. I've always wondered in that space of time. They stayed here so long, I thought maybe some big shot is going to show up, you know, to deliver these things. And I didn't know what was going on. Nobody ever did that I knew.
No.
And they brought that thing out. It just looks like a flat board or something on a stand, you know. And I said, "Is that a Starlink? I've heard about them." And they put them in the front yard, and those guys set that up and had us up and running.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I'll never forget all the people in the front yard with their phones. Everybody hooked up to it, and they were finding out if their loved ones were okay.
Yep. They're making contact with people to let them know, hey, I'm okay. We're all right. It's the first contact many of them had with anybody.
Absolutely. They were like, they're okay. And I'll never forget either. And we've talked about this a lot. We'll close it down, but I'll never forget for a month or so afterwards, just being here at the church, and somebody would drive in and we'd be like, thank God you're okay. Because there were people, you know, we didn't even know. We could not reach.
Yeah.
We just wondered for weeks if somebody in our family, church family, had died and we didn't know about it. I mean, just for weeks, people showing up. But God was faithful in it all.
And that's part of it, you know. Part of, you know, bringing it back around, getting a chance to take communion together gives you, you know, really an intentional spot there to pause and to look back at God's faithfulness in your life. And the hurricane was just one opportunity that we had to do that.
Yeah. Who knows what the future holds? There may be more times like that and days like that. If there are,
hopefully not.
Yes.
Hurricane.
We don't want it. But if anything happens, the body of Christ is here, and we've proven that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, bingo.
No doubt.
Thank y'all a bunch. Love y'all. Love you guys out there. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.